Hello guys, welcome. Today we are going to discuss about Boomi. So before starting in this, let me give you the quick overview of what is Boomi. Boomi is a integration platform as a service which is Ipass. Uh, we have so many Ipasses, right? Like Workato, Celigo, and Boomi. But yeah, Boomi is one of the top most demand integration platform due to its uh, easy development without and if we have taken MuleSoft there is coding as well, but Boomi have very less coding. The most of the development contains about drag and drop. The only thing we need to uh, we need to know is which there are shapes which having different functionalities. The major thing we have to know is which shape we have to use the in which scenario. We need to connect all the shapes based on the requirement. The coding part is very less in Boomi. That is the main advantage of Boomi, and so it will take less time only to develop the process. Yeah. So coming to the overview, Boomi is widely used in the applications in the integrations between different applications. Suppose if if you consider a company has multiple applications in the background, like the same company will use different applications. Like for CRM they will use, for customer relationship management CRM they will use Salesforce, and for ERP requirements they use NetSuite, like those. And for employee some for regarding some employee details, they may use ADP, but they want to integrate all the applications, so that suppose I am an employee, right? My details needs to be there in Salesforce, and my details need to be there in ADP, and my details need to be there in NetSuite. In such cases, we can go and give access for application individually. But if you consider, suppose I only need the access, if I need access for me individual, it is okay. They will give access for in the three applications manually. But what about a fast growing company which is like a major company which will have 10,000 or 20,000 employees, right? Suppose in their company, in those companies, so they need to give access all the, suppose they have the details in the ADP, which is a HR platform, right? They will have all the details of the employees there. So basically in ADP they will enter the records manually for based on the each employee. But from then they need to automate their all the employee integrations to integrate with other applications. For that they will use Boomi in background. Like they will create as Boomi processes to integrate all the employee details from ADP to Salesforce, or ADP to NetSuite, or NetSuite to Salesforce, anything. The only thing is they need to enter those details in the ADP first, and later they need to develop. I mean, they need to have a place. They need to have a process in background for to integrate the data between their source system ADP to all the other target systems. For that, they need to develop a process and need to deploy in the production, Boomi production, and they just need to activate it on. That's it. Once there are any, I mean, once there are any new employee details are there created in ADP, Boomi will fetch those details and will sync the records. Like the Boomi will create the records in all the target applications automatically. This reduces so many of manual work, right? Because it is not possible to enter all the details in multiple applications. For the source system, which is ADP, let's consider it's we need to enter in manually for each employee. But for all the other systems, we may not. It may not possible to enter all details in application manually. So for that, we will use Boomi. So the major part of Boomi for this, as I said, right, we need to have a processes in the background to sync the details from ADP to NetSuite, or ADP to Salesforce, like that. So For that, what we have to do is, the basic thing is, first we need to develop a Boomi process where we will we will get the records from the source, and we will have the mappings, like field to field mappings. From source they will have different fields, from target they will have different fields. So we need to convert the do the mappings by converting the profiles we may need. Suppose the our source system ADP may send us JSON, but our target system Salesforce accepts only XML. In that case, we need to do profile transformation between JSON to XML. So for the transformations, we will use a map shape, which is a component where we will define our source profile, which is our source profile is, suppose let's consider our source profile is JSON. Let me select one sample JSON. Yeah, basically our JSON looks like this. I think you may be aware of that. JSONs will have array of elements. And suppose my target application is Salesforce, which accepts only XML. Then I need to select a destination profile element as XML. And then I need to select, suppose I need to create accounts in Salesforce. So yeah, this is the basic. So to the mapping, I need to map the uh, field to field map. We need to do field to field mapping based on the requirement. Suppose I need to pass this collection view URL to to website. Suppose, yeah, let me take this preview. Suppose there is a preview URL where I need to map it to the photo URL, maybe. So in that case, we will map it to like this photo URL. And suppose from source we need to pick the collection view URL when we need to pass the data to website. So like this we will do. Suppose we need to get the discount, and we may need to pass. Suppose these are not fixed. I am just showing example how to do the field to field mapping. They will give us mapping sheet where they will define the source field and target field. You can refer that document, and you can do the mapping here. Suppose my release date is here. Suppose I need to pass the release date to some any date field here. Suppose, yeah, okay, there is no. Let's think. Yeah, suppose I need to map the long description in the target. So I'm clicking on that long description and dragging a line. That line I need to pass it to the description field. Once it is green, then I can release the mouse. So this is how will do the mapping. And we will have some other features, which is all, in all the cases there won't be we won't have the straight to straight mapping in all cases. Sometimes we may need to do some transformations. For that we will use functions where we will suppose I need to concatenate two fields and pass it to the single field on the target. So for that, I may need to use string concatenation functions where I will pass the input 1 and input 2 to from the source, and the result should be passed here to the suppose any of the field in target as per the mapping sheet. So yeah, this is how we will do the mapping. And coming to the next one, what we need to do is we need to get the source and target details connectivity. So for that we will use connectors where we will define our source and target connector type. Suppose in this case, let's consider my source is ADP. So that's why I'm selecting. Okay, we don't have any ADP connector in this trial account. It's okay. Suppose let's consider our source is Shopify. From Shopify, we need to create sales orders in the NetSuite. So from Shopify, since this is our source, right? First, we need to get the details. After get we for every connector, we need to create define the action. Like what is the action we are performing? Are we getting the details, or are we sending the details? Like are we querying, or we these actions will be vary from connector to connector. For Shopify, If you see these are the actions we have, but if you consider Salesforce, we'll have only two options, either get or send. Suppose if we are querying the data from the Salesforce, which is basically a source application in our process requirement, then we will get as select get action. But if we want to send the data to target application like Salesforce, then in that case we will select the action as send for the Salesforce connector. The whatever the action you are performing, either get or send, the two common things are connection and operation. Basically, connection, what we will do is we will define the parameters like required credentials or something to connect to the application, because this is the common URL for Salesforce. You can ignore that, but for username and password you need to define your say for this Boomi account, for the integration purpose. In general, Salesforce will create a user for integrations purpose, and they will give us a username and password. Those two details we need to pass here, and yeah, once those are done, we need to click on save. This is basically a connection operation, a connection which is a component. Similarly, you need to create operation. The basic difference between connection and operation is, in connection we will have the login details, but in operation we will have the what is the exact thing we are working on this Salesforce connector. Like in this case, I am using get, right? So I need to select object, which object I need to work, because in my requirement I need to get, suppose I need to get the accounts from the Salesforce. In Salesforce there are multiple objects. Like if you see here, these are the different objects in the Salesforce, but where our requirement is to fetch the all the account details. So in that case I will select the accounts and next, and Salesforce will automatically give us a profile. So that profile will be automatically loaded in Boomi. So it's profile is loading. Just a second. Yeah, yeah, profile is done. If you open this profile, if you see here, these are the details what we have in the Salesforce account. Salesforce accounts means accounts are nothing but a customers in Salesforce. So these are the different fields we have on the customer. Suppose customer will have customer ID, customer. I mean, even though it is accounts, for better understanding I am saying it as customer, because in Salesforce accounts means basically it's a customer detail. So it's nothing but account ID, account name, account type or something, and account address, basic details of the customer, and phone number, description, owner ID. These are the common these are the meta fields, metadata fields, which are automatically created by values will be created by that Salesforce application only. If you create any account, it will automatically store some created date value in the created date field, and if you modified anything, it will capture the last modified date, like this. So this is about the profiles in Boomi. In what we need to do is, so the basic process looks like this is our source connector, and again mapping is done. So after mapping, what we need to do, we need to load the data into the target connection. So for that we need to again take one connector and okay, and we need to configure either it is Salesforce or something. I'm not worried about that right now. Suppose I'm clicking it as data, some uh, any connector please. Suppose I'm consider it as NetSuite. It is our target application. So I'm placing it selected the NetSuite. So after that we will ensure a stop shape. Stop. So this is the basic structure of Boomi process development. It's nothing but a ETL. You may be aware of the ETL. So yeah, if you I think you may be aware of ETL. Where what we need to do is, we need to extract the details from one connector, and then using map shape we will convert the profiles between source and target, like XML to JSON, JSON to flat file, or flat file to database, or database to VDI. Like those, we will have five. Boomi supports five different types of profiles. One is XML, and another one is JSON, and another one is uh, flat file, and another one is database, and another one is EDI. You may be aware of the first thing, XML. I will discuss about the profiles in the later part. Yeah, and this is the basic structure of Bhumi. So for this, my development is done. Suppose let's think my development is done, that I did all the connections and I did mapping, and I am loading it in the target. So basically my development is done. So in this case, what is the next step? The first thing is you need to develop a process. First thing is development. Next thing is package, and next thing is deploy, and next thing is management. So the basic life cycle contains these four steps for the Boomi integrations. So development is done. So next thing what I need to do is create a package. If you create a package, it means for it will combine all these components into the single package. It will create a group. It will save all these components as a group, and it will store as a one package. So I am creating a package. I am giving as initial package. Okay, so I'm creating the package. So package created successfully. Where we need to see the package means you need to click on the deploy and package components. So my process name is new process 4, right? So package components, if you click on there, if you see here the latest one, new process 4 initial package, and they created just few seconds ago. So as I said, right, package creation is done. Next, what we need to do, we need to deploy this. Deploy means where we need to deploy this. So basically we are deploying this process to a runtime engine, because you have created a process, uh, but to execute it full mode without any limitations, you need to deploy the process to the runtime engine, real time runtime engine. So basically runtime engines are in Boomi. There are two types of runtime engines are there. One is test atom clouds, and another one is local one is atoms, and another one is molecules. So basically let's consider about first atoms. Atoms are basically runtime engines, where we have two types of atoms. One is local atom, or another one is cloud atom. So I want to deploy that previously created process, right? I want to deploy that in test atom cloud, which is a cloud atom. So what you need to do is, yeah, if you click on that, sorry, not deployments, package components, yeah, if you click on that actions, it will show as deploy. So I am selecting deploy. It will show two atoms, test atom cloud I am deploying. It is initial deployment. So yeah, my process is deployed. So next thing, what you need to do, the next thing is you need to execute the process. Where we need to execute means, suppose package component deployment is done, right? So after that, our build part is done, deploy part is done up to that, and after that you need to come to this manage part, where you need to select the process reporting, or let's consider if you select this atom management, select the Singapore integration test cloud. If you see the deployed process, a new process 4 is there, right? Which is just been deployed just now. So new process 4 is there, and after that you need to go to process reporting, and you need to execute the process, that same new process 4. So Singapore test atom cloud, new process 4. Yeah, I am executing it. So basically executing means what it needs to do is, I mean, I didn't configure the operations and all. I just basically defined the structure, so it won't get succeed because there are no operations. Because yeah, if you see here, operation not specified, but in real time you need to specify the operation. If you once you specify the operation, it will fetch all the details from the Salesforce and will do mapping transformations, and then it will load the data into the targets. So yeah, this is about the Boomi process. So another thing you need to know is, so since I am saying is that automated process, right? But if you execute it, go and execute it manually. But in real time, how it works then? Because we need to run trigger this process automatically, right? Not manually. If this is manually, then there is no full use for Boomi integration. So for that, what you need to do is go to atom management and then Singapore test atom cloud and need to click the deployed process, and then if you see the new process for, there is an arrow right beside that. If you click on that, there is a edit schedules button where you need to click that, and you can schedule the process to run on every day or every, for every, suppose I need to run the process on every 15 minutes, like on every day I need to select the run this process every 15 minutes. So yeah, okay, so my process schedule done. If I edit schedule, yeah, if you say here from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m., my process will run every 15 minutes. So this is the complete, this is the, you can say this is the completion of that automation, because there is no once you deploy the process and you have verified that the process is working fine and you have scheduled that, then there is no need of any manual work. One, if there are any records in the ADP or source systems, like if there are any new records in the source system, Bhumi will fetch all the records and do the some transformations, will load it into the target application. There is no need to enter the same records again in target manually. So this is the basic details we need to know about Bhumi. For remaining, I will explain all the functionalities in detail later in later parts. Yeah, that's it for today. This is the basic demo I want to give to you, to give some overview about Bhumi. Thank you.